Hey everyone, welcome back. I just wanted to take a second and share with you this little project that I did last night. So I had all of these scraps, as you can see, that I had cut off from the edges of embroidery around the hoop before you finish off the hoop. Some of you may know that you cut that off and make it into a circle and then stitch it off on the back. Anyways, I had all of these little pieces and I needed to make a pincushion, and I did not want to go buy one. I thought there's no need in that. I have all of the things here, so I'll just make one. So as you can see, I've already got them all pinned in place, so I just start stitching them together, and I'm just using a regular sewing needle with regular sewing thread. As you can see, I have no specific shape in mind, and I don't even know how this is going to turn out. Obviously it turned out fine since I'm showing you guys the video of it, but at the time I had no clue what this was going to end up looking like or if it was even going to work. I'm using a red thread in my sewing needle to stitch all this together, simply because that's already what was in my needle from mending a pillow previously, so I just continued using it. I actually liked the way it contrasted with the cream and the blue. I thought it looked really nice once I got started stitching. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. So the pincushion is going to be for my straight pins. I have a pincushion that I use for all of my in-use sewing needles, but I didn't have one for all of my straight pins, and I wanted to keep the two separate. Obviously straight pins can take up a lot of space and just kind of like be in the way if they're not already in or not being used in whatever project you're currently doing. So I wanted a way to keep them separate but then keep them neat and from rolling away as well. I do have a plan for the pincushion. It was really interesting trying to get all of these pieces tacked together or stitched together so that they stay together, and making sure you're not missing what's on the other side of one piece that's on top. So the side that you're looking at from the top, that's going to be the outside of my pincushion. The bottom side of this is going to be the inside of the pincushion. So I do have some jump stitches there just for time purposes. I mean, again, it doesn't matter what it looks like on the inside. No one's going to see it. It's going to be stuffed. As long as it works, that's all I really am worried about. It's just kind of interesting just kind of stitching, just making all these pieces stick together. And did I get this piece stitched down? And what about this piece over here? Did I get that piece stitched down? And then flip it over and go, oh, well, that needs to be stitched in there too. So there is a lot of that going on, like just a lot of stitching and restitching, or finding new places that need to be stitched down. Yeah, not a lot of restitching, but definitely a lot of finding new places that need to be stitched down. As you can see, I've got this really sped up, and every time I think that's a good speed to do it at, I end up speeding it up a little bit more. I am about halfway through with stitching it. Every time I think, oh, I'm almost finished, I find one more piece that needs to be stitched, or one more flap that's not laying like it's supposed to be. And so you can see I keep flipping it from one side to the other, trying to get it all stitched and all sticking together to make a cohesive piece of something that I can work with. I already have my stuffing set aside, as well as a canning flat. That's the flat piece of metal that goes inside the ring of a canning lid. So I'm going to use that as the bottom of my pincushion to keep the pins from coming all the way through and stabbing either into myself or the table or whatever it's currently sitting on. So this is going to be kind of like putting together a jigsaw puzzle without a finished picture to use as reference. That's about the best analogy I can give for this. It's a whole lot of wonky pieces and edges and things not exactly lining up just right. So it was interesting to try to put this together, and I ended up with an interesting shape, which you'll see at the end. But here we go, let's get it put together. It actually starts coming together quite nicely, and on these little legs or tails or whatever you want to call them, these little long flat pieces, I continued the running stitch with these, but then I went back and filled in the gaps of the running stitch with a second set of running stitches, just to make sure that no stuffing was escaping or any holes opened up inadvertently, since it, you know, is going to be stabbed with pins and probably under a good bit of pressure, because I do tighten it up some more here in just a second too. And I do go back, and at the end, after, I think it's after the end of the video, I do cut off all the little strings that are hanging out of it and stuff, so I do get those cut off and cleaned up, so it is looking much nicer than it's looking at the very end of this video. But it's coming along pretty nicely. I was pretty pleased with the results and the end result, so let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and be sure to hit the bell so you'll get notified for the next videos we post. And it is done, and I'm putting the pins in, and I'm testing out. I even test out the canning flat at the bottom to make sure the pins don't go through. My husband and I have decided it looks like a mole.